My guest, Lakita Tomlin, is an intuitive coach and mentor, and she specializes in helping women who are afraid to use their voice and assist them in telling their stories so that they can help break through cycles of perfectionism, fear, resentment, and become who they long to be. Welcome, Lakita.
Thank you, Michelle.
So today you're going to talk about Root to Rise, journeying to the creator within. Tell me a little bit about that. What does that mean to you?
Sure. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And my story is probably not too far from a lot of people's story, and that's why I'm glad to be here to share it today. Through years of talk therapy, I put myself through just to get acclimated to relationships because I just felt like I needed an extra party. I couldn't do it alone. I knew that after a while, I could not do the life thing alone. Um, and so I enrolled myself into a lot of talk therapy. So over the years, I recognized it wasn't hitting down in here. It was here in my head, but not so much down into my heart and into my soul. So I was able to at least become more cognizant of what I was thinking, become more aware of what I was saying to other people, and
That
become
helps. Yeah.
that definitely helped. Like, don't say that, say this instead.
Right.
And also become more aware of my self-talk and just my general patterns.
Yeah.
But what I didn't get was this sense of wholeness, that I felt like there was so much more that was outside of me that belonged inside that I was missing.
Okay.
And so I went on a journey to figure out who could actually help me get more involved and become more personal with me instead of just listening to my story, making me, and I say making me, I'm like really helping me become more responsible for who I am and the stories that I tell myself.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I started collecting lots of books because, it's like knowledge. And I was like, I can do this on my own. And so I tried my best for more time to do things on my own, read more books, do more journaling. So I have thousands of journals. I'm just exaggerating, but so many incomplete journals and lots of books, and I've enlisted in a couple of online classes. But then I stumbled upon shamanism, and that is where the journey comes from. The journey to the creator within. I started to get spiritual guidance from a shamanic teacher.
Okay.
And I started to actually learn the practices of the ways of a shaman. And what that did for me was tapped into my natural gifts that I've forgotten that I had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so not only did it heal me and help me become responsible for who I am, and to be able to name those things without being afraid of the shadow side of me.
Sure.
I was actually able to ignite the parts of me that was missing, the parts of me that were missing that I couldn't name them at the time.
All right.
But I became able to name them with that practice.
Gotcha. Cool. So when you help other people journey to their creator within, like, what does that look like?
So you'll see that I'll close my eyes a lot and do deep breathing. That's one aspect of it. It's breathing. It's finding yourself in your body and letting yourself know that you're safe there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's being able to center wherever you are and become aware of you. Become aware of your contractions, become aware of where you're relaxed, and just pretty much scan your body and recreate or create a container for yourself where you feel safe.
Mm. Yeah, that emotional and even like nervous system sense of safety is so important. And I think that that's something that's becoming and like an everyday topic now. How can I regulate my nervous system? So many people are practicing
Yeah,
somatics and embodiment and stuff like that. That it's becoming finally out there for all of us to look at. How is my nervous system responding to this? So I love that. Yeah, it's important work because even if we're in a growth point and we know this thing is good for us, our nervous system could kick back and restrict us because it doesn't feel safe. Yeah.
definitely. And, I still go through that naturally. Um,
Mhm.
and what I've learned through my healing process and what I teach others as well and guide others through as well is it's not so much that the thing won't be there anymore, but it's recognizing what the thing is,
Mhm.
looking at it, sometimes becoming good friends with it, just seeing why it's there through your acknowledgement. And there may be the thing, I keep calling it the thing because it may be something that may have triggered you all of your life. And then you find that that trigger becomes less. It may have
Mhm.
gone from something that happens to you and it may knock you down for maybe, for several months. And then it knocks you down for a week. And then you find it knocks you down maybe for a day. And then before long, that trigger is no longer a trigger anymore. It becomes you're like, oh, that's a thing again. It's here. I acknowledge it. You can thank you for helping me recognize that I'm going back into an old pattern. And then you
Mm.
release it. So it becomes,
That's key right there. Thank you for recognizing that I'm going into an old pattern. Like, I love that. That's so succinct. Yeah.
yeah. And so that's what I help women transition to.
Mm.
My desire is to help women who have not looked truly at themselves as a person, as a full being.
Mm.
Um, the woman who has been so used to over pleasing and over supporting and just everything's just becoming just everything for everybody, and serving from her empty cup. So it to the point where it becomes an addiction and she doesn't know it.
Mm, that's important to take note of too. Like, can you talk more about the addiction to serve others?
Oh yeah. So it's something about we girls, we get a chance to learn how to serve. And it comes from, naturally it comes from a good space. But what happens is that we are taught to, even if it's indirectly, to stuff our own feelings
Mm.
and to learn how to acknowledge, not to acknowledge what's going on inside of our bodies, and to ignore the voices that the thoughts in our heads, and focus on the external, our environment, and how we can calm and give peace and give joy and give happiness and give love to our environment,
Mm.
whether it be our children, our significant others, and even at work where we overwork, we just become the embodiment of everything for everyone. So we go to sleep and we wake up and do it again. And so
Mhm.
after a period of time from being subconsciously trained to be present for everyone else, it becomes your way of life. And it
Yeah.
becomes your pattern, and your brain, we love patterns. We are pattern makers. Even if the
First
pattern sucks.
You know, I can't relate to any of what you're saying right now.
This is just what I heard. It's not what I can relate to either.
Yes, I mean, so I don't think my mom would hate me for saying this. My mom is a giver, 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 and really has had to work hard on creating any kind of boundary because she gives and gives and gives until suddenly next thing she knows she's under the bus, you know, and then she gets mad. Well, you know, and I think we all experience that to some degree. And you know, it is a pattern, it is a habit, and it can be an addiction if that's specifically like if that's how we find our value is in giving all the time, you know, like where else could we find our value? You know, where else is it? It's intrinsic. I mean, we know this, but we don't know it in a conscious daily kind of way.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's one of the things you help people become aware of.
Yes, it's all in the observation of yourself, the awareness of the thoughts that we think and the behaviors that we just do daily, you know, just our day-to-day in our day-to-day lives. So much so, the addiction, like I said, that comes from just something that you've always done. You don't even think about it. It's just like a natural routine. You know, you get up, you brush your teeth. You know, you get up out the bed. You go through a daily routine. And a lot of times we don't recognize that our behaviors are the same behaviors that we've been doing maybe since we were 13, 14 years old, of how we were taught. And then we subconsciously made ourselves believe that if we didn't do these things, these are the things that would happen. We will lose relationships. People won't love us. People may reject us. We will be alone. We won't feel secure. And our natural desire is to feel loved and secure.
Yeah. I have to prove my worthiness, my worth, and my lovability by just giving to exhaustion.
Hope that they would see it.
Right.
It's just like, okay, everybody, I am completely drained. I'm on the floor now, and I'm still giving you stuff that's in this empty cup. And okay, well, I don't have anything in my cup right now. I'm going to go borrow some from someone else's cup right now, and I'll be right back so I can continue to serve you. And then you'll say, oh my goodness, thank you, Lakita, for being such a great servant of my heart and my time. And that never happens. Now you're in resentment.
It's funny how that works out, right? Like, yes.
Now you're just almost cursing everybody out and you know, making them feel awful because you feel like they deserve to feel awful like you.
They don't appreciate or respect me.
No, you don't love me. This is all that I do for you.
Right.
And that creates another cycle.
Yeah. That's a whole other hornet's nest, we'll say.
Yes, the victim cycle continues.
Yeah. So how can someone become aware of these patterns that they have?
The first part is most, and I will say this is the simplest part, but it's not. It's actually being courageous enough to look.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, because you got to be brave to be able to look at yourself fully and completely and own it, all of it.
Own it. And I find that a lot of us have to run into several walls and implode and explode and recreate and rebuild over and over again until one day we decide something ain't working. And it might be me. I think it's them.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's them, but let me check on me. So that's the first stage of getting into this process of really taking a moment to be courageous and be brave, to look within. And next The next step is for now, there are various aspects. Like if you're doing coaching with me, I can actually take you into spaces in your subconscious mind where you may have created the story.
Okay.
But for people who may not be directly working with me, I would encourage them to just kind of how you would observe a science experiment. You become more observant of yourself, of how you feel when you are. How are
Mm,
you acting when you are frustrated? How are you reacting when you get angry? How does your body feel, or are you reacting when you are overgiving? What,
mm,
what situations are in place? What are your triggers that are creating these situations for you? And jot down what those feelings are, how your body is reacting to it, and what situation it's that has created that for you.
so just noticing oneself and
Mhm.
observing and trying to withhold judgment or assigning meaning to it, but just observing, how am I reacting? How am I responding to this?
Yes, and
Yeah.
that requires another part, that which is slowing down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You mean I got to stop giving to notice why I'm giving?
Yeah. Dang. So what tends to happen is when, because a lot of us are, a novice to this, you do the thing first and you're like, oh shoot, I did that. I did the
Yeah.
thing that I said that or I just cursed somebody out and I said that I wasn't going to do that if he did that again.
Hmm.
Okay, I need to make some adjustments to see what happened. How did I get there? I missed several steps of my body telling me, oh, it's time to boot up. It's time to put the armor on. It's time to go to war. I missed all of that and went into
Mm,
reaction.
hmm.
So to actually learn how to be present in your body and recognize those feelings and those experiences that you get as you start to suit up.
I think that's that noticing and that checking in with oneself, like what am I feeling? What am I experiencing in my body and in my emotions right now? Like that gives us a guideline on our emotional bandwidth too, because if if it's wide open, then hey, a few bad things can happen. Whatever. I'm still going about my day because I got emotional bandwidth. But if it's more closed off, one bad thing can happen. It could ruin my whole day. Right.
Yes,
And so checking in with oneself regularly, like you're suggesting, I think really can kind of help. Oh, well, I better not walk the dog today because if he pulls me, I don't have the bandwidth to respond properly. I'm going to
yes,
be jerking him on his leash instead of being a good puppy parent, right? Um,
definitely.
yeah, that's really fantastic advice. Um, and then
Also,
and
well, I
go
want to
ahead.
just interject. Just one thing that I also noticed for people who do have a very small bandwidth. I was one that had a very small bandwidth because over time, I created, my emotional chaos created so much trauma that created triggers on top of it. So with a trigger, you never know when you're going to blow. So I actually had to become aware of when I found myself getting anxious or upset. So I can just go, as long as I'm going about my daily routine, even if it may have been a little, something that I probably could have improved upon. I didn't worry about the daily routine stuff. It's the when I felt like I was losing myself, or when I was coming out of my body,
Mm.
or when I felt like I needed to insert my power somewhere, like in a harsh way, so that people will
Yeah.
know not to f with me.
Mm, mhm.
So I'm like, okay, do I have to do this now? So I actually had to become vulnerable enough to know, like, hey, you don't have, this is not a war situation right now. This is you observing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're not in war now. Just watch. It's almost like a video game. You are,
Mhm.
or you are watching a TV show. Like, what is about to happen? What choice are you going to make now? So I had to become more aware of my choices, which helped me then extend my bandwidth.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good stuff. Really good stuff because so much, I mean, it's life, right? There's gonna be crap that happens. There's gonna be someone who's not kind to us. I still get blown away by mean girls. I have no idea that they're outside of my range of what I believe exists in this world. And so when I run across one, I'm like, what was that? You know? So but yeah, I think just, like you said, it sounds like you're talking a lot about like just being present, being aware, being centered in the body.
Yeah,
Do you have some things that will help people to, I mean, you mentioned breath earlier,
yeah.
to be centered in themselves so that they can be more aware of themselves in the moment?
Yes. So there are a couple of things that I not only recommend, but just I have to do for myself as well. This again, it's the journaling helps. But if you're
Yeah.
anything like me, who may have some difficulty with attention, if I may get the journal and may start the journal, but then something else happens, and then I'm on the other thing that's important.
Yeah. Again, I can't relate. I'm always focused.
Another scroll. Oh, there's another thing. So I would even put a post-it. I
Mm,
put post-its wherever I see my face, wherever it is, at the refrigerator,
okay. Yeah.
in the bathroom, at my, in the area where I get dressed, just as the reminder, a reminder of what my intentions are for the day.
Okay.
So the desire is to set your intentions
Mm.
and not to overwhelm yourself with another to-do list. Of course, we don't need another one of those. That's how we became overwhelmed in the first, trying to get everything checked off. But to actually set yourself just a couple of intentions and or priorities, like what are my priorities? What are my 2 to 3 priorities for today? What would they?
Mm.
So allow yourself to have space even while you're setting those priorities. Give yourself time. Give yourself, and be gentle with
Mm.
yourself.
That's important.
Woo,
Yeah.
so
Because I
important.
mean, we take every opportunity, I think, to beat ourselves up about something, and it's like, okay, it's okay to let that go. It's okay to just be human and make mistakes and just try better, try again, whatever, Yeah.
It's something super fun. I'm still learning how to do this myself. Or I'm a person who is recovering from perfectionism. Make a mistake and laugh. Recognize
Yeah.
you didn't die.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still here, and you get a chance to, like, wow, that was really messed up. Or there was something like, damn, girl, you really missed the mark there. And just be okay with it. Learn how to have
Yeah.
fun with your mistakes, because that's what makes us grow, right?
I used to work with this woman that would say, seriously, it ain't that serious.
It ain't that serious.
And
And
at the time,
yeah,
I took myself way too seriously,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
and I had to like I had her voice running in my head. Seriously, it ain't that serious. And like then it kind of gave me permission to just stop taking
Mhm.
myself so seriously. And when I did that, I've had a lot more fun and a lot more experiences. I've been a lot more accepting with myself, but also the things that I want and need to get serious about, I do with the laser focus because I'm not so worried about stuff that doesn't matter.
Yes, because you notice that the stuff that doesn't matter tends to kind of creep in to the stuff
Hmm.
that does, and it becomes this mental chaos and creates
Yes.
this overwhelm. And you're like, I don't even know what the heck I'm doing or thinking right now. I was supposed to do this thing, but for some reason I'm thinking about that I didn't pay that bill at SSM, and and then auditors are calling.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And, and speaking of ADD, right? Like that's something that has affected me at times. Like, I got something running in my head because it's something that I need to take care of. Well, I can think about it for days and have it occupying mental space where I can do it right now.
Yes. 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 So,
Yeah.
yeah, so learning how to be okay with making mistakes, having and setting the space for yourself to, to cushion yourself, blanket yourself with love. So
Mm,
your priorities can just be simply as, I'm going to be gentle with myself today.
there you go. There you go. Yeah, because I mean, frankly, we don't treat half the people out there on the street like we treat ourselves,
Right.
and if we view ourselves from that perspective of a sister or a friend or a child or whatever, something that we treasure, then that can change our experience like that. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So awesome, Lakita. So you have a program now to help people um, through this process, Root to Rise. Would you
Yeah.
want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, the program is in development, so I'm very excited about it. It's a 6-week program so
Okay.
far. That's the goal. We have a 6-week program where we women get together in a group setting, and I teach them the ability to, first, no, not the ability. I teach them the art of observation.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And from there, we go into what dreaming is again. Dreaming. So we recognize we redream sometimes because many of us have lost our dreams by giving them to some other people.
Mm.
We've dreamed for everybody else and we've lost our own dream, whether it was our spouse, our children, or whoever else. When someone asks us, what do you want to do? It may be something superficial, but it's not the thing that you really think about by yourself when you're daydreaming and imagining yourself in a different type of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So tapping into that, like bringing forth that creative nature within us of just bringing up, like, what would your dream be? What would your redream be at
Mm.
this state of your life? A lot of us are like over 40, where we've done the dream thing at first. Like, we went to school, and then we got the job, and then we got the career, and we were like, this career sucks. I don't want to do it, but this is what pays me, and I got a house and car and kids now. So
Right. Yeah.
so we tap into that, into the redream, and then learn how to give ourselves permission to look within, because a lot of us are feeling like, if I look within here, what's going to happen to the people out there? They need me.
Yeah.
They don't think on their own. They don't eat on their own. Of course, all of these people can think and eat on their own, but we just have
Right.
this responsibility to hold the earth up. And we just begin to think, like, if we don't show up in the ways for other people like we've been showing up, then we might mess up. So if I start to look within myself, what's going to happen? So I help them learn how to take moments throughout throughout the day, or just moments throughout. You can put it on your calendar, even just, oh, okay, I have 30 minutes for myself.
Yeah.
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 And take some time and look within. And that's when we're looking within, we're like, okay, so here are some things that I would like to kind of not only just create, but heal.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that are constantly repeating themselves in my life that I'm so sick of? Like, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this. I don't want the relationship. Like, I keep dating the same dude with the different.
Right.
I don't like this dude. Why do I keep
Right.
bringing him into my life?
Mhm.
Why do I keep bringing in scarcity in my financial life?
Yeah.
Why is it that when I get a check, all of a sudden, I get something big, and then I possibly I might blow it on something, like, because I deserve it, of course, and then you find yourself back into this pattern. Or are you scared to look at your bills? This is me. I'm scared to look at them. It's like, I don't want to look. That was how I was mostly, like, I don't want to look, because if I look, it's going to show me that I don't have it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you're looking at, so the aspect of the journey within is just taking these moments to look at these recurring patterns in your life, the things that you don't want no more,
Mhm.
and decide, okay, now that I don't want them anymore, what am I going to do with you? Let's find out how you even got here. Are you mine? Or are you my mother's?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you my father's? Or are you my great great grandmother's?
Mhm.
Yeah. Or are you something that's from a past life, even that I am bringing into this current life? What are you, and why are you here? And what lesson do you have for me? So
Mhm.
it's not a bad thing. It's a lesson thing.
Yeah.
It's a contract.
Yeah. That also is an important distinction because, when we look at these things, it's really easy to qualify them as good or bad, but really, what did we learn from it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I learned my most important lesson from an abusive relationship.
Mm.
It was hell,
Mhm.
but I didn't realize that I was being taught a lesson that catapulted me to where I am now.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not to like say, "Oh, it was a good thing that you were in an abusive relationship," but you got a good thing from it.
Yeah.
That was you did that. You created that beauty
Yeah.
from the crap pile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of us, we all have some form of toxicity in, did I say that word right?
Mhm.
In
Toxicity.
whatever relationship we have created, we
Yeah.
have some crap we're carrying along, whether it's on our shoe, or we're carrying somebody else's crap that's on their shoe. So we
Mhm.
have the stuff, right? And what it taught me, once I finally I stopped fighting it. Like, I was fighting, I was resisting the lesson.
Mhm.
And the lesson was, look at these contrasts in your life. You are longing for this thing. Meanwhile, this thing on the opposite end is happening. What can you do about it? And my first response, as a 20 something and 30 something year old, was make him do it. Help him be more accountable for doing it in the past.
Yes.
He just doesn't
Make
see
that
the
person
value.
change.
Yes, he won't change himself. So I'll have to help him
Yeah.
become a better person, of course. And so I went through years of helping people become a better person for me. You must not have read my resume. See, these are all the nice things that I have about myself. Now you must notice these and be honorable to those things,
Right.
you know? And meanwhile, while I was doing that, I was just constantly losing my self-esteem.
Mm,
I was losing my voice. I
mhm,
was losing the love for myself. I was losing my glow. I would look in the mirror and I would just I looked dead. My
mm,
skin was not, it was dry. My eyes were sunken in, and I just didn't understand why things had to be so hard.
Yeah.
Until one day it hit me that I had to, the things that I was asking for everybody else to do for me because I thought that I deserved it because I was doing it for them. I wasn't doing it for me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a part of the journey within. What are you doing for everybody else that you're not doing for you? And take one thing that you're doing for somebody else now and start doing that thing for you without guilt.
There you go. That's it. That's a game changer for people to start applying that love to other people and that attention for other people, that generosity, and start like, oh, you mean I got to do this?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't gotta. You can keep on keeping on, but you might want to try. You might want to give it a shot and see how that feels.
And give it a shot.
Yeah.
The word, I like that. I like the give it a shot and see how it feels. Because again, from that perfectionist checklist behavior that I had, I wanted to just go all in and get things accomplished. Like if I needed linear, everything like, okay, and that's done, that's done. Now that should, yeah. I checked everything off now and go. So I didn't know, Michelle, I didn't know anything about playing. I didn't know what play was. I didn't know what it meant to give things a shot and just to see. I thought I had to be successful. And I thought I had to go 110% in to do the thing. So that I can feel, so that I can feel some type of value and that the box was checked off. But giving things a shot, that means you have some flexibility, right?
Yeah, yeah. I gotta tell you, that's just something that like I'm 50. That's something that I've really had to learn many times just to like lighten up, give it a try, get curious,
Get curious.
get curious, be creative, allow that creative side of me to come through. And I want to touch base real quick. You said something a while back about setting your intentions for the day. Like, I think people underestimate how powerful setting an intention is, because it's like, to me, it resonates along the same line as nature abhors a vacuum. You set an intention, there's something there that's like, well, we're either going to make this happen or we're going to give a lesson in how to make this happen. There's something to the nature of our universe of life that has that value to it. And you could set intentions for literally anything you can be creative about. I'm going to walk past this tree, and when I walk past this tree, I'm going to get the answer that I need.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that about setting a couple of intentions for the day. I know people pick a word for the year, like, how do I want to feel today? What do I really need to do? What's of most value to me, most important to me to get done? What would feel the best to get done? And so on and so on. Yeah. So it can be impractical or practical, right?
And again, it's fun, right? And it's flexible.
Yeah.
And for people like me, we were taught to have these short-term and long-term goals, especially as a therapist. I'm a speech therapist by my profession as well. And so in order to get a client to move along and for Medicare to pay the bill, we have to, show short-term goals and long-term goals. But what we haven't done for ourselves even is those little micro goals in between, those little needlepoint moves. And so that's what setting the intention is for the day. It's just like, what did you do for yourself? What make you feel good, that make you feel clear. You wrote it down. The key is to actually write it down, because I would say, okay, this is what I'm doing for the day, and then I'll forget.
And writing it down where you'll see it, because putting it in your journal, you're not leaving that page open in front of your face all
No,
day.
no, you
Yeah.
put the small thing, then you look at it like, oh, this in 2021. It says, wow, yeah, that's exactly what I. But yeah, to make those little micro steps and celebrate, Michelle, celebrate those moments.
Hmm.
So that's another aspect of Root to Rise. Take time to celebrate yourself. Take
Yeah.
time, like, hey, Lakita, you know what? You did well today by doing blah, 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 or when you blah, 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 blah. Good job. Keep it up and smile.
That's juicy. That's juicy. It's internal inspiration. Oh, I did that. I'm validating myself. Look at me. You can do it again. You
Yes,
did that thing. You can do this other thing that's harder. You know,
yes.
it's that
I get
that
chills just thinking about it.
I know, it's like a concrete step to becoming your own cheerleader. Like I talk about that a lot, and celebrating the little and big wins, is what I call them. Like that's just like, it's so lush. It creates this sense of lushness to life, and this like, I got this. I did that thing. I can do this thing.
Yes, yes. And for me, it's like because I was so used to waiting for the external validation that my well ran dry. When
Mhm.
I started to learn how to validate myself, magical things happened. The most, oh my gosh, it's like I started to feel really good. I started to feel pretty again. I started to feel smart again. I started to be able to hear my own voice again. I didn't want to, I recognized that tension that used to be there, it was no longer. And I started to bring in the most beautiful relationships in my life
Mm.
that were easy. They were easy.
Wow. It's amazing what's possible when we let it happen.
Yes.
Ah, wow. Lakita, this has been just tremendous. I want to take a moment and tell people how they can find you. So how can we find you on social media?
So you can actually find me on Facebook under my name, Lakita Tomlin. And I also have a private Facebook page called Root to Rise. And it's for women who are looking to reclaim their dream and also release the stuff that used to keep them locked in the past. Want to bring them forward and help them feel good in a safe container full of love
Yeah,
and care and support of other sisters.
love it. Yeah. Some people like, oh, I don't know how I feel about a group, but more often than not, like the groups, there's so much transformation that's possible because everyone is holding each other and sharing their stories, and being validated by each other. It's a tremendous experience. If you haven't been in a group, I highly recommend it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for that, well, for me, I was a very private person. I took my privacy as a badge of honor.
Mm-hmm.
My privacy isolated me. It
Mm.
isolated me and it kept me just with my own thoughts. And and it made me feel as if I was all alone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I joined the group at first, I was like, I'll just observe what people are saying. I'm not going to be talking about my
Right.
business. I'm not going to be talking about me. When I became one that's like, oh my gosh, I am starting to hear people, women who have the same story as I do. And it took courage for them to
Mm,
stand up and share it.
yes.
And who am I to sit here with mine all in my back pocket
Mhm.
and not share for someone else who needs the same thing that I needed?
To that point, I think there's a flip side of the giver,
Mhm.
right? But sometimes the giving is allowing someone to give to us.
Yes.
And so learning how to receive that and letting someone do for us that, think about it. I got all this love to give. I'm going to give and give and give and give. But if I don't ever let anyone give to me, then there's someone out there like me running around giving and with no outlet, right? What if I'm their outlet for the day? I got to let them give their love too.
Yes, that indeed. And I can say that I actually am still transitioning and I'm in that wound right now, just kind of moving out of it. Like, yeah, I'm used to giving. And allow the allowance and the here it is, the asking.
Yes. That's so hard. Why is that so hard?
Like keep these, like you start to even tell yourself if you're not careful, people don't want to be bothered. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to be an inconvenience. You start sounding like your great grandma or your grandma, like, oh no, I don't want anybody to worry about me. Like, no, but really inside, I really need people to love me. I need somebody to hold me.
Mhm.
I need somebody to just be there so that I can figure out how to get through this, even without even, they don't even have to say a word sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, can you hold me?
Yeah. And sometimes even it's just in the offer, like receiving that offer, like, okay, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't have anything that I could ask you for in the moment, but it feels good that you offered. I take
Yes.
that love. I'll
Yeah.
receive that.
Yeah, definitely. I can actually see how that's probably one of the first steps for the people who are not used to receiving it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody just offered. It never happens. That felt good.
Yeah.
Let me start thinking of things like, wow, that really felt good. And you start to like tap into that type of energy once that happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what can I ask for? I don't
Yes.
even know.
Let's check some things. Yeah.
Let me
I-
come up
I-
with a list. Next time someone asks.
yes. And it's all in the fun of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Lakita, I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing your precious self with us. It's been just a real treat.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. It's been a wonderful pleasure being here. And I am so grateful for this experience. I
Mm,
remember who I was, and I'm grateful for her. And I am so grateful that I was able to make that transition to who I am now and
mm,
allow me to be here with you. So I appreciate you for the offer and
yeah,
for allowing me to share my story.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, check out Lakita's links in the comments. We will have her socials and we will have her Root to Rise program in the comments as well. Thank you, Lakita.
Thank you. Bye.